Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a Saturday early evening episode of Ted's Booze Cellar with me, your most gracious host, Ted. It is currently 5:25 on the 16th of January 2021. So, I hope I'm finding you all in a good state of affairs, and if I'm not, then I hope things improve for you very promptly. Now, I'm in a good general sense of spirits and moods because I just watched the Charlton game and watched Charlton beat Bristol Rovers 1-0. Wasn't the cleanest victory, but after the way our recent games have gone, I will gladly take it. And to the people who are saying, "Bo, you're out," just come on, let's be a bit realistic for once. But I thought I'd celebrate by recording an episode of Ted's Booze Cellar and recording this one on another one of the beers my brother got me for Christmas. So today we're going to be taking a look at Tannen Zäpple by Rothaus. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation because it is German, so apologies to any German viewers. So this is Tannen Zäpple das Original. So I'm guessing this is the original recipe of like the premier beer that Rothaus Brau notable for making. I must say I don't really know much about this brewery. I mean, it says on the front that the brewery themselves were established in 1791, and that this beer is brewed in accordance to German purity laws of 1516. So this is clearly like one of those old traditional, proper German beers. So I'm looking forward to this, and I've got to say I like the colours and the simple art design of the bottle. It's very, very Germanic, but no, I like it. It's very striking, very handsome. I'll give it a 9 out of 10 because I think some of the line work could be a little bit sharper, but I generally really like the look of it. So yeah, I've been trying to look as well for the ABV, but I can't find it. There we are, 5.1%. So kind of about what I'd expect for like a traditional German wheat beer. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. So let's give it a sniff and see what our first impressions are like. Hopefully they're moderately good. Right, let's give it a little snifter. Can't really smell much beyond like a simple like lagery smell, so I'll just give the smell like a 5 out of 10. It's not particularly striking, but it's not particularly bad of a smell either. I feel like a 5 out of 10 represents just being there, just kind of average really. So yeah, it smells fine, but it just doesn't really smell of much, to be honest. Just kind of simple everyday lager. But then again, that's not necessarily a bad thing either. So have ourselves a quick palate cleanser of water before we chug this little sucker down. There we go. Right, and then on to the most important part of the video. And thank you once again to my brother for getting me these beers for Christmas. So, bottoms up. Hmm. Okay, so first off the bat, it's got a very clear, crisp texture, kind of similar to like a Dinger Crystal. The taste is a little bit sweeter, which is it kind of feels like a cross between like a Paulaner Munchen Bavarian lager and Weissbier, sort of just without like the sort of like wheaty haziness of a Weissbier, although there is a sort of like slight wheaty haziness underlying the flavour there. Yeah, it kind of tastes like sort of your standard German wheat lager, but it's kind of like bitter, but in a way that's not at all like an IPA or a pale ale or anything like that. It's just this very sort of light tint of sort of like herbiness, sort of like bitter at the end. Weirdly enough, it does actually kind of undercut the sort of hazy sweetness quite well. Not that I would expect it to usually, but no, actually, generally, this is like a mixture of different like regions of German beer, I think, that mix together quite well. You've got like the kind of like clear crispness and slight bitterness of like an Erdinger Crystal, mixed with like this sort of like crisp texture and sort of Slightly wet, but also kind of dry finish of like a Paulaner Munchen, and then kind of like sort of a similar sweetness to a Weissbier, but less hazy. I think that's probably the best way I can describe it, to be honest. The finish of the texture is a little bit hazy, but in kind of a way that complements the flavour quite well. It gives this almost like honeyish texture at the end. So it is generally a very smooth drinking experience, despite there being a little bit of fizz out throughout. So, I mean, the texture is pretty spot on, to be honest. Got a little bit of fizz, not too much. The flavour, I'll be honest, I think I'm a little bit more partial to like Weissbiers, because they have quite full flavour, but I do like this because it's got, I don't know, it's hard to pin this down because the texture is pretty much fine. I've got no problems with the texture. The flavour, the flavour's got this like sort of honeyish tint to it, but I kind of wish there was a little bit more of it throughout. But generally, this is still a damn good beer. I think I'll give it an 8 point. No. Yeah, I think I'll give it an 8.75. It's just within the elite level category of German beers, I think, because it's very palatable and it's strong enough that you get a sort of real sort of headiness from it, but it's not so strong that it immediately knocks you on your feet. I feel that it's generally balanced with only a few sort of very minor parts of its flavour and texture that could be filled out a little bit more, but generally they're not really criticisms of the beer that I would say are significant enough for me to downvote it. So generally I would say this is definitely a buy. It's an 8.75 if I'm in the mood for it, but even if I'm not, I'd still say it's like a 7.75. This is really good. So yeah, definitely a buy, definitely would recommend. Will probably go out of my way to get some more in the future, and definitely a produce that I think Germany can be proud of. So yeah, well done. And thank you again to my brother who got this for me. So good God. That was better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be probably like an 8, but no, 8.75. I will gladly take that. So yeah, if you guys like this video, leave a like, share and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future episodes of Ted's Booze Cellar, leave them in the comment section down below. And if you want to check out anything else I do online, I'll leave the links to my other social medias and shenanigans on the video description below, or in the video description below, I should say. But until next time, have fun, stay safe with whatever you're doing, don't do anything I wouldn't do, wash your hands, take a mask with you to the shops, drink responsibly, know your limits, stay safe, and I'll see you guys at the bar next time on Ted's Booze Cellar. Auf Wiedersehen.